4,963 laps, 12,407.5 miles. After the iRacing Indy 500 weekend back in May, there's been no other driver who's competed in more top split iRacing Indy 500s than myself. Of the 27 top split iRacing Indy 500s I've done, 12 of them were the Saturday broadcast split, which is a shared record, and in total I've gained 182 positions, more than double the next driver in the list. Achievement-wise, is this something I'm extremely proud of? Honestly, not really. However, I am more infinitely proud in my personal life that I've been able to do judo and help people with judo and grow in their personal lives. So in that same vein, I'm proud that people say I'm the reason they started running IndyCar as a result of my video guide and other videos as well on the channel. That is definitely not meaning to say that I feel like I've wasted my time anyway by doing this event, because to be honest, it is really nice to know that you're a fixture in events representing a sport that you love across 3 generations of cars on iRacing, including the IR05, the DB12, and the IR18. And to be honest, I can't explain why I still do it. Initially, I honestly didn't really want to do it, but then by the time May came around, I felt like I just had to do it, and I wanted to do it, and I had fun doing it. Suffice to say, I have been on iRacing a very long time, and overall sim racing's been my hobby ever since I was still in grade school. I could never imagine that just enjoying my hobby was going to take me to where I am now and who I am now, especially after starting iRacing in 2012. But what does this all mean at the end of the day? Overall, you can say I've had a successful, quote, career, end quote, but every day I think about what is the most important. It's everything I have now outside of this bedroom with the sim rig and gaming setup taking basically half the room in my bedroom. So don't get me wrong, I love my setup and we'll go over my setup. But if you mentally have nothing else sorted, I've heard content creators actually refer to their really amazing setups and their gaming rooms as metaphorical prisons. So much has changed since I started iRacing in 2012. I regularly started running the IndyCar, which was still the IR05 at this point, and most of my time on my computer was spent driving. Gradual positive results led me to joining Broken Arrow in the fall of 2012, and we were established that same year. They are Team i5G's spiritual and lineal ancestor. 2013 led to my first start in the iRacing Indy 500, finishing just outside the top 10. This is also the team's first iRacing Indy 500 win in a broadcast top split in a car driven by Brody Kostecki. Yes, that same Brody Kostecki. Little by little, I gained speed, poise, and composure on the track, and my personal life was largely improving, and in 2015, I started doing judo, which I think I can honestly credit that for everything I've had in sim racing after this point, because it's helped me in so many little ways. At this point, I actually wasn't driving too much. I raced rarely from 2015 to 2019, but I was still competing in the Open Indy 500s, and I was getting good results while enjoying life. So I was having a good balance of, personal and so-called professional life at this point. In 2017, I also won my iRacing Indy 500 split, which was the Saturday night top split. So not the broadcast split. So in my opinion, it doesn't match, those who've won broadcast splits, but nevertheless, I still won an iRacing Indy 500. That same year, I also met Brandon, Chris, and Matt for the first time when we went to the Indy 500 that year. And then came 2020. Obviously, the entire world had a lot more free time on their hands that year, including myself. And at the end of 2019, I was making videos of the team, of our league races, and essentially what my friends told me of the team was what I was making was too good, and that I needed to share what we were doing. So that's how this YouTube channel started, and I was actually shocked to find that there was an actual audience for me and, by association, my friends. Something I've only really finally gotten comfortable with recently. As you well know, Arca Break Weekly ended up building this channel and gave this team a platform for our driving. I never expected to grow something from nothing into what is now very special for me. A small place in the corner of the internet where I can rant and laugh about internet car racing within our community. And it's something I'm appreciative of each day, and whenever I post a video or get live on my Twitch channel, I am always thinking of how fortunate and lucky I am. So this rig tour video is not going to be like, oh, look how cool my stuff is. You should tell me how cool I am. I got this great stuff. I already know the stuff I have is cool, okay? I don't need anyone to tell me that, right? I will talk about throughout this rig tour video, basically what sim racing means to me, what it's given me, and through great partners, what I've been able to do with sim racing. For example, working with Pimax, working with Sim Gaming Expo, being a guest at the expo there, and going to the first one, being part of a on-stage competition, which was really cool, and going back there again this year and getting to meet all of you. That's what to me is more important about anything you see here. But nevertheless, here's some of my equipment I can share with you. Starting with the chassis, we use a SimLab P1X. I bought this back in 2020. And really any 8020 chassis platform is going to last you a very long time. The seat here is a Sparco Pro 2000 QRT. It is an actual racing bucket seat, so theoretically you could put it in a car. It's FIA spec. All these stickers I bought from eBay and Etsy. On the back, we still have the Wisconsin license plate, and we have my name tag that I got at Sim Gaming Expo that was all 3D printed for us for all the competitors. You'll see a lot of things here that you normally don't see on stream, including my face camera. It's my Sony a6400. It's a mirrorless camera, and this thing is definitely overkill. A lot of things you're going to see here, like, oh, do I need this for streaming? No. And over my right shoulder, when sitting in the cockpit, this is my Elgato Facecam Pro. This used to be my actual face cam for a number of years, but when I moved to the mirrorless camera, I made this basically my point of view camera. And it's over the right shoulder, kind of like those old 80s and 90s F1 onboards. And I just wanted to be a little bit different when it came to my streams. And I saw no one else is doing it, so I decided I want to do this. If you've seen my previous rig tour video before, you know I run a 2 PC setup for streaming. And audio is incredibly important when it comes to that. You have to make sure the audio is being routed right, that everything sounds fine. And it's definitely overkill for most people, but I use every audio channel on this. It's the Rodecaster Pro II, and yeah, it was a little bit dusty. Sorry, I had to break out the dust gun there. Altogether, it has 9 individual channels, 6 of them physical, 3 of them virtual. And when you're editing videos, and like I do, it's a godsend to mute what you need to mute and increase what you need to increase in terms of volume. Mounted at the back of my triple screen stand is my Earthworks Ethos microphone. It's an XLR microphone, and it's connected to the mixer, obviously, which has 4 XLR inputs. I'm not good with audio stuff, but basically this thing is almost idiot proof. You just plug this thing in, especially with the Rodecaster mixer, and it's going to sound wonderful, even for my voice for radio. Up above, we have my Elgato key lights. This is definitely kind of an overkill purchase too. You can get a much cheaper lighting solution, but when it comes to customization of easily changing brightness and the color temperature, these are definitely the way to go. And overall, they provide great lighting for my rig, especially just for like the cockpit camera to my right, for example. Now behind the cockpit, we have Govee floor lamps, and this is definitely a more budget option. On the back, you can also see a hue light strip as well. So in addition to the room lights being hue lights, the strip behind the cockpit is also hue lights. So it gives really nice ambiance and lighting for the stream overall. Sitting in the cockpit now, off to our left, we have the Elgato Stream Deck XL. So basically that contains all my keys that are stream related to the change scenes. And moving to our right here is the original Stream Deck I still use off to the side with iRacing commands, basically. So reset my car, turn down voice chat, etc. And as we pan out now, you can see really the field of view that we have is something I worked really hard to get correctly. I set my wheel under the monitors. I feel like if you're able to do that, you should, because it just gives it a level of realism that you don't get when your wheel is like a foot or two away from your screen. So getting that nice proper field of view, and looking to the right over here at Virtual Michigan Speedway in our Indy car. We recently held a race there and did pretty well. There's 3 wheels that I use, which I attach all to my VRS Direct Force Pro direct drive wheelbase. And this is the VRS Formula Rim, and it's got all kinds of encoders, lots of buttons, which is perfect for the Indy car with the the hybrid and using in-car tools, weight jacker, ARBs, kind of the we call it wheel Tetris. We have to touch the in-car tools so much. It's like we're trying to move pieces around in Tetris. Next, we have a Momo Mod 11, and it has a Turn Racing BP2 button plate. RIP Turn Racing. They no longer make anything anymore, but it's a wonderful button plate. And if you know your F1 history, it's got a Casio watch stuck right in the middle, because Michael Schumacher used to have a little Casio watch they asked the crew to put on. So it's kind of a bit of a throwback with an older Formula style rim. And the last of the 3 main wheels I use are the OMP OD 1981, and it has a SimMagic Neo X hub on it. And I have to say, I love this button plate. It can add paddle shifters to the back, and you can have 2 clutch paddles as well on the back. It's an absolutely fantastic wheel for rallying, and that's basically primarily why I bought it. It's also nice for street cars too, if you're playing like a set of Corsair or something. Now, last but not least, here's some troll wheels. Here's the Gucci wheel I've shown on the channel before, and it's so easy with quick releases nowadays, especially the ones I buy. I'll link them down in the description. The quick releases I use, just attach them to any wheel that has the pattern and just have some mindless fun. So here's a heart-shaped steering wheel, and here's a steering wheel that basically looks like a flight yoke. I bought it from Amazon. It said it was a go-kart wheel, so maybe a project for the future. Here are the pedals that I use. They're the Hoisting Belt Sprint pedals, and This 3-pedal set for the money is an incredible value with the amount of customization you can do in the software and just how you can physically move them. You can see actually with my plate here on the gas, it's slightly lower than the brake and the clutch, so just a slight preference I have there. And I have a friend who's always said that like the pedals are like for your speed and the direct drive's for fun. So if you're looking to increase speed first, I would recommend pedals, specifically this one. Now last but certainly not least, the random Amazon USB shifter that I have off to the side of my rig. It's a 6-speed with reverse, and you know, I didn't want to like go all out on a shifter because I wasn't sure like, you know, how often am I going to use it, right? Versus like, you know, do I want to pay for something good knowing it's going to last for a while but like rarely use it, or pay for something rather cheap that seems to be okay except when I leave a bunch of dust on it. Yeah, my rig gets pretty dusty. But like the feel of it and everything, for what it is, it's worth the money. In fact, I need to dust everywhere. In addition to my triple screen setup, I'm very fortunate to have on hand a Pimax Crystal Super, one of Pimax's incredible quality VR headsets that they have in their product line. And the resolution is 3840 by 3840, built-in IPD, so no longer having the measuring stick you know, in front of the mirror or asking your eye doctor to figure that out, because with the eye tracking, it does it automatically each time you put in the headset. And it's simply just an incredible experience driving in VR. Flying in VR too is just as much fun. As you may know, I am partnered with Pimax, and it's been a wonderful partnership to be able to try out all kinds of equipment and bring content to you, just, you know, to see what VR is like and sharing my opinions on it. And that's to say, I've had a lot of fun. Additionally, Pimax is also an official VR partner of iRacing. iRacing is one of the most VR optimized and VR mature racing simulators available today, and Pimax is long focused on high-end PC VR for simulation users and not casual VR gaming. The collaboration signals Pimax's long-term commitment to serving serious sim racers with better VR hardware, and iRacing's recognition of Pimax in visual clarity, wide FOV, and immersion. When I first started using VR and in iRacing, I was thinking, wow, this looks really cool. Well, it doesn't look just really cool. There's a lot of benefits to it as well, including depth perception, spatial awareness, and you know, it makes it easier to judge your braking points, corner entry, you know, where to turn for the apex, as well as car-to-car distance, whether it's in front of you or to your left and right. And that natural field of view helps provide that when you do that. Now, triples can do the same, but it's also kind of, in my experience, a little bit tougher to judge distance, particularly if like cars are on your left side or right side. I've done videos previously on Pimax products, and you can look for those in the description as well if you want to decide like what to choose from, whether you want to choose from the Crystal Light, which I also have and have tried out for starters, as well as the Crystal Super. If you need a good starting point, the Crystal Light is probably pretty good for you. And if you're looking for ultimate immersion and you have the budget for it and the computer to use the available resolution, the Crystal Super could be right for you. If you're interested in purchasing a Pimax VR headset, there's currently a mid-year sale occurring right now. It started on June 8th and lasts until July 10th. Shipping is also free during this promotion. By using the link below in the description and using the discount code TEAMI5G, you get a percentage off of your purchase, and you help me earn a commission fee at no cost to you. Along with this, Pimax is currently running a trade-in program to turn your former VR headset, even non-Pimax products, into exclusive rewards on Crystal Light and Crystal Super headsets. You would simply submit your headset info to see which discount you can receive, have your submission reviewed, and then order with an available discount code if eligible. You can also use code PCVRBSD for an extra upgrade bonus when upgrading from other VR headsets. Supported headsets in this program include the Reverb G2, Valve Index, MetaQuest, and Oculus Rift S. The best part is you do not have to physically send in your old headset to Pimax. This is a digital upgrading event only. Your old headset stays with you. You can find more information about this Pimax sale below in the description. Here in the rest of the room, you can see some of the beer signs I have, including that old style sign is actually from my grandma and grandpa's classic Wisconsin basement bar, so there's a little bit of history there. And once again, the rig. But if you look off to the right, we have what I call, just ignore the closet. Yep, keep panning, panning, cameraman. There are my influencer boxes. I swear, like everyone who streams has these boxes. So it's got a bunch of racing memorabilia there, including a famous Culver block, one of many Culver blocks that made up the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. There now, of course, under the asphalt. But we didn't dive in the creek to get ours. We got ours at a gift shop. Just like we bought these tickets, where I wasn't alive for many of these races. And I have my own ticket collection of the races I've obviously have been to. So they're all over here. And I've been to every Indy 500 since 2022. So we've gone, 4 or 5 straight years at this point. And our first one was in 2017. So there's my very first Indy 500 ticket. Previous winner is always featured. So Alex Rossi's on the ticket there. But my other ticket I enjoy the most is my pass for, there it is, the Sim Gaming Expo at the Schaumburg Renaissance Convention Center in Schaumburg, Illinois, in the greater Chicago area. I was a special guest, and I will be there again as a special guest. And if you want to attend, there's a code down below for a discount that's running currently. Here are some of my classic racing stickers that I haven't put anything yet. There's a vanity license plate, and there's a cow, Road America cow, because I grew up in Wisconsin. And off in the corner here, we have like the original building blocks I would call of IndyCar sim racing, all the papyrus titles from Indianapolis 500 The Simulation to IndyCar Racing 1 and 2. And on the shelves here at my desk, we have all my old steering wheels that I used for my CSL Elite wheelbase, including my Formula rim, which I used for the IndyCar and used during the Pro Series. So in a weird way, I'm kind of keeping history. And there are my 2 computers. On the left is my gaming PC, which plays the games like iRacing. And on the right is my streaming PC, which handles all the encoding for the stream, which of course are then connected to the mixer. And sometimes I feel like it's held by magic and graft. I'm not sure how my streams aren't more of a disaster than they kind of already are, but somehow it all works together, and it's a fun place to go to every night to rewind and relax and talk to people. And of course, we all know who the true star of the show is. I'm convinced some of you just watch just to see here. This is my cat, Lily. She's getting a little bit older now, but she's just as sweet as ever. And I still remember you all being mad that I didn't pet her in the last video, so there you go. There's Lily getting the pets, everything she deserves. I wanted to close talking about what exactly sim racing means to me. What sim racing means to me is not the super cool equipment that I have, because I still remember the joy of first getting on the sim when I was cramming triple screens on my desk. Here you can see like basically one of my original setups at my parents' house, kind of shunted into the sunroom that we had at our house. It was like kind of the one private area I could sim race and kind of stay out of everybody's way. And I just remember how excited I was just getting those triple screens and running with there's my G25 there, for example, right? And I just remember just the unbridled joy and fun that I had. And ultimately, that's the fun I still have. If there's something that you do in your life that you truly do not enjoy, unless you're getting paid a lot of money for it, maybe take a step back and decide if this is something for you, because some things are just not for everybody. I'm trying to play golf right now. Maybe that won't be for me, and I'll quit, right? If I'm not having fun with it anymore, for example, right? But until it's not, like, I'm gonna keep trying to play golf as good as I can, and I'm gonna keep on sim racing as much as I can as well. That's why I truly don't understand like why people have the meltdowns that they do in sim racing. I of course take it seriously too. Like I drove in pro for a season, right? Like I obviously dedicated a big portion of my time to qualifying for it and driving in it. So, like, of course, I would get frustrated if I was in an accident, and I'm a competitive person by nature. I like to win. I don't like underperforming or losing. But at the same time, if it's truly hurting me, then I wouldn't have done it as much work as it was, and in some ways, kind of the mental anguish that did come with it, to be truthful. But then you take all those things away. Let's say you don't get the result that you want, or something bad just happens to you in a race. It's best to like take a step back and just realize that like what you have. I have parts of my life that kind of compartmentalized, and I know that sounds bad, but like each part of my life is compartmentalized from the other. Where if like one thing is bad, like there's other things I can go to where it's not so bad after all, when you just kind of take a step back. I always just have to remind myself that at the end of the day, this ultimately is for fun, and there's no reason like to have this hurt my mental health when it comes to, if it's trying to, if I had the skill to become a professional, I again, I still don't consider myself a pro, man. I still can't really believe that happened. But for me, like if I had like 10K iRacing skill, right? Like, and it's just, that's all my focus is and nothing else. Well, I have news for everybody. In terms of like esports pros, it's no more different than being an actual racing driver in terms of protection, right? Like a racing driver is an independent contractor. Same for like an esports driver. For that matter, content creators the same. So I'm not going to just plant one finger at one side. It's for both. Like, content creators can also kind of fall in this trap too, putting a lot of time and effort into something that honestly doesn't really pay much of anything. There's no benefits, because you are your own boss, and there is a benefit to that, but there's so much more that you're missing compared to like an actual job. It's ironic of me for saying this because I was both of those things, but I would say like have an opportunity to touch grass as well. Like I said before, like if you have other things you can go to, this hobby becomes much more enjoyable. Truthfully, when it comes to like kind of like a business aspect to sim racing, it's one I'm not like super heavily involved in, and it's not because I'm never not open to it. It's just simply, kind of my philosophy of why I do this. I still do this for fun. And the quote I always go to, and it's racing related, is a quote from Gilles Villeneuve, which I've talked about in this channel before, but I want to repeat this quote again. Prior to the South African Grand Prix in 1982, Gilles Villeneuve was quoted as saying, "The sport is more important than anything, more important than any of the people in it." Of course I say what I think, I always have, even if it upsets people like Ecclestone and Belest. Why should I be afraid of them? The fans aren't here to see politicians and manipulators. They're here to see Alain and Mario and Carlos and me. I'm very secure in my feelings about racing. I make a lot of money from it. But one thing I can tell you for sure, if the money disappeared overnight, I would still be in racing because I love it. The entrepreneurs would be gone. And as for a quote for life, this one is like completely out of left field. I don't think the author of this quote has almost anything in common with Gilles Villeneuve, but it's something I think about every day in terms of, how I want to be remembered. The last thing I want to be remembered for is like being a great sim racer or making funny content or, having great streams. Those are cool, but like, what would I first want to be remembered for? Is it would definitely be something else. And what's interesting is if you know anything about the story of Jim Clark, of course, one of the greatest drivers of all time, if you're able to see his headstone where he is buried in Scotland, of course it lists all of his achievements: World Driving Champion, Indianapolis 500 winner. The very first line on his headstone simply says farmer. It lists farmer before everything else. When it comes to like my profiles on social media, the very first thing listed is actually the kanji in Japanese for judoka, because I am a judoka. I practice judo, and that's one of the most important things in my life. Now here's that quote completely out of left field for a video like this that honestly kind of just defines my life and how I live my life. My friends, we are not the sum of our possessions. They are not the measure of our lives. In our hearts, we know what matters. We cannot hope to only leave our children a bigger car, a bigger bank account. We must hope to give them a sense of what it means to be a loyal friend, a loving parent, a citizen who leaves his home, his neighborhood, and town better than he found it. What do we want the men and women who work with us to say when we are no longer there? That we are more driven to succeed than anyone around us? Or that we stopped to ask if a sick child had gotten better and stayed a moment there to trade a word of friendship? I have met so many friends, so many close friends, friends for life because of sim racing. Having that and knowing that you have people who care about you with friends and within my community too makes me realize what's most important to me about sim racing. Thank you so much for listening to me. And if you have any questions about my rig or anything else that I have in my gaming room / bedroom, leave some comments down below and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.